GM. GM. Today's lesson is going to be in response to a question I got from a student. A good question. He's a blue belt in boot camp, but this applies to everyone. What he was essentially saying was, now he's a blue belt, he has to live trade. And he has to do his 100 live trades. But he finds that in between the trades, he has a lot of free time. And he wants to do more work, but he's getting distracted because he doesn't know what to do. Right? So in between the trades, because he thinks he has to do the 100 live trades, he doesn't know what else he should be doing to learn as a trader. Now, this is super important, because what he finds himself doing is cheap dopamine things. So for you, that might be watching YouTube, Netflix, scrolling on TikTok, going out drinking, video games, jerking off, whatever the fuck it is. It could be anything that wastes your time and your precious energy. Now, first of all, I have very little sympathy for this, for anyone listening. Because whenever I first started trading, I didn't know what I was doing either. But I did know that I was angry. I was literally, physically angry that I didn't understand things. I would trade and I would lose, and it would annoy me. Not because I was emotional, but because there was something I didn't know. Or I would look at the market moving and I'm like, why did that happen? And I didn't know. And I would think, the market should go up here, and it wouldn't go up. I'd be like, why am I wrong? And so that literally anger, that frustration at not knowing enough, drove me to just relentlessly study. Read everything I could read, whether it made sense or not. I would just find things that confused me and go down the rabbit hole of them. It is completely unacceptable to think or say that you don't know what to do yet, that you're clueless of what else to do. And then, even worse, you allow yourself to get distracted because you feel like you don't know what to do. Do anything. Do anything. Remember, and this goes out to the student who had the question, but I've heard this a lot. This is the same for a lot of you. I hear this very often. So I know this is not an isolated incident. If you feel like you're in any stage, whether you're in boot camp or not, but if you're in boot camp, you're at white belt and you're doing your back testing, but you want to do more and you find yourself wasting time. If you're in blue belt and you're live trading and you find yourself, maybe you're a swing trader and you only take 1 or 2 trades a week, you've got all this free time just watching the chart, or else you're like, well, my trade is gonna, my trade's going up, so I guess I'll just wait until it hits the take profit and I'll go and fucking play video games or scroll on TikTok or do some bullshit. You can't allow yourself to live that way. Now, you have to break this habit. And the way you do it, I will give you an actual practical exercise, is you need to set blocks of time and things you want to do. So the first thing everybody should do is have a note. I have it on my phone. I have an iPhone. I have the Notes app. And I have a note. Let me get my phone. I have fucking endless notes. I have been a habitual note taker for years. And I'll just go to the trading section. I've got my iCloud notes, trading. I've got 26 different notes, but each note is a list. I have a book list. I have my first principles. So my things that whenever I'm trying to think about the market, and if I ever have an idea of how I think about the market, I write it in here. Situational analysis, scenario analysis, that's another note. Okay, that's scenarios, times of the day or times of the week or times of the month that I want to study, like FOMC, CPI, NFP, the CME Open, options expiry, new moon, full moon, token unlocks. Again, just anything that comes to mind. I'll go on further. And then systems I want to test. This is an important one. You've got strategies to develop, systems you want to test. So it's sort of the same thing, right? And that is any time I come across something that just catches my eye for whatever reason, I will add it to this list. And then I will schedule time to go and study it. I have enough here on this one note. That could keep you fucking studying for a year. I literally have not even made a tiny dent in this note. So, systems to test. I'll just read a few of them. EMA bands crossing, fading VWAP, breakout trading, basic, mean reversion, basic, sentiment systems, bull market specific price action. So these are all ones that I've done in the past. Volume, liquidity, and size. Technical levels. Shorting things that are up 3 to 5 days in a row. Panic dip buying when there's a crash. Clearing events. Which alts are most driven by spot and futures? Which alts are best to scalp in size after a market nuke? Mondays are the best day to fade the first move of the week. That's a question. Are they? Backtest which days of the week have the most reliable breakouts. How far does a move on a fair value gap lead to before filling? Deconstruct a TPI, like what Adam does. Deconstruct the TPI and break it down into sections. How to spot TWAP on open interest and CVD. Backtest token unlocks. These are a few more I've done in the past. On balance volume on spot versus perps. Order flow liquidation tracking. False breakout or reclaim in an up or down trend. Breakouts with no news catalyst. Are they more reliable than breakouts with a news catalyst? How many trends does a coin have on average per month? Breakout into gaps. 4-hour 50 EMA to end a major trend. Test coins breaking bullishly out of inside days and continuation patterns. You've heard me talk about that one recently. Funding rate anomalies. How does it trade around the 4-hour close? And so on and so on and so on. That is about 20% of my note. I could sit there and read all night of things that I've either tested or need to test. Now, I've been trading for many years. A lot of what I just said probably makes no sense to you. But when I first started trading, my note was exactly the same, except at the time my note was bull flags. When do they work? When do they not work? Right? Trend lines. Is a trend line more reliable when it's pulled across the candle closes or across the wicks? Again, the stuff I say now sounds super complex. That's because I'm at a stage where the questions I have for myself are more complex. Your question should be basic if you're newer, and that is totally fine. It should be super simple. What happens when there's a breakout with 2x average volume versus 3x average volume versus just average volume reaches the moving average? Like, simple, really, really simple. It's just trading is an endless set of what if questions. And so you should get into the habit of writing those down anytime you think about it. Anytime. And at that point, you should have an endless amount of work to do. And so then if you're ever in a position, now this is where you just need to have the discipline, right? If you just then have the presence of mind to know when you're about to pick up the fucking PlayStation controller or you're about to open TikTok, you're like, wait a minute. I have better things to be doing. And not just, I don't know what to do. No. Let me go to the note. Let me take one of those. Let me spend an hour and fucking do it. And I'm going to cross that one off. And boom, there you go. Now you have endless work to do. Endless amounts of positive dopamine hits. And at the end of it all, you learn so much more about the market and about yourself. So, get into the habit of being curious. Ask questions. You don't know where to start? Go to Trading Analysis and just read the shit I write all day and take the parts that are confusing and go and study them until they're not confusing. I'll go to Trading Analysis here and I'll scroll up past some of the shit posting, of course. I do a lot of shit posting. Right. Scrolling up, scrolling up, scrolling up. Other effects I see. This is just a random post I did on Tuesday. Something I think is going to happen. Alt Bitcoin correlation weakens to its lowest level ever. The market will still be correlated, but less so. That probably confused a lot of you when I wrote it. And so there's two types of people. There's type of people who are like, what the fuck's Michael talking about? That doesn't make any sense. And then they go and pick up the fucking PlayStation remote and go back. And the other type who say, what the fuck did Michael just say? That makes no sense. I am not going to fucking sleep until I understand it. And there is no excuse. We have infinite information at our fingertips. You can literally go at any point, not just to Google. We now have ChatGPT. You can just copy paste my post into ChatGPT and say, what does this mean? And it'll probably guess, and it'll at least set you off on the right path. But you have to take the first step. Just try. Just do it. And if you do that, your life will change. You will become a better trader, and you'll become a more consistent and productive person, and you will feel a lot better about yourself every night when you go to sleep.